27 minutes before the hour, Nate Brewer joins us from Sylacauga City Council District 3. Nate, good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy.
You know, there's a big event yesterday here in town, Marble City Pharmacy, with their ribbon cutting and grand, I guess, reopening of their remodeled building.
And you know what district that's in, don't you?
3.
Absolutely. That's the best district out there.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what went on up there yesterday.
Welcome to Marble City Pharmacy.
They're fired up. Ribbon cutting yesterday. Beautiful, beautiful building and great gift selection too. You know it's Christmas time in Dixie, don't you? You know that, don't you?
Absolutely. And you know Jared and Danny, they've always done a real good job making everybody feel at home, and they're good people, and I'm glad to see that they've got their remodeling done and their doors are back open. I know they're glad to be back in.
And they've got the drive-through there too. I like that drive-through.
that's
You don't
right.
have to get out of your car, you know.
Yes, sir.
All right, big event taking place here in Sylacauga on Thursday. Sylacauga Parks and Rec presenting their final public meeting. That's going to be at the City Hall, right?
Yes, sir. It'll be at City Hall at 6
So
o'clock.
what's this about?
What this is, Jimmy Dale, the council a couple of months ago hired a firm called Chambers & King to come in and do a master plan, okay? And a master plan is a plan that you want to see your city get involved in, and you want to see your city, the road you want your city to go down. And what it is, it's recreational, because as you know, at the rec, we're kind of out of room, and we're running out of room. You know, you've got gymnastics 3-4 times a week. You've got basketball coming in probably 2 or 3 nights a week. Then you've got games because they've got to practice there. And the Parks and Rec's also using the school's gyms to practice, and you've got volleyball, and we've just got so much going on that we're trying to accommodate everyone because our city's grown, which is a good thing. So long story short, we've got our last final meeting at City Hall, and it's the big master plan. And look, I know everyone has seen it on Facebook, and I know it looks like the Taj Mahal. It's just a plan. But you're not going to be able to build all that because we don't have the funds to build all that at one time. But what we do want to try to do, we do want to try to build an aquatic center and then add on as we go. Because as you know, we ain't had a swimming pool in a long time. Okay, and this right here, there it is. As you see there, you've got football fields, and you've got, there's a swimming pool there, and you've got some basketball courts and pickleball courts in the back. Some of that stuff is going to be taken out, and Steve Masters and the City Council, we will work together to take some of that out because we don't need all that right there, okay? Because we've got fields and we've got...
you got the property to do all that right there?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay.
That on top, right there, it's going to be across from Albia Steers Insurance Company on Highway 21. At the bottom there is flat. And as you go up, it flattens out at the top. So what we're going to try to do is stay on bottom, because once you get into moving dirt and cutting mountains out, you're going to run into more. That's going to eat up more of your money. So we're going to try to keep it as low as we can. But like I said, the first thing we're going to do is build an aquatic center. An aquatic center is got a swimming pool in it, it's a workout center, it's got meeting rooms, maybe another gym. That's what this meeting is about tonight, and that's why it is so important for people to come and be a part of it and let your voice be heard, because these are your tax dollars that's got to pay for this. The city ain't got $30 million in the bank that we can just write a check for. There's no way you can do that. So there, you see a football field over here. We don't need that because we use Legion Stadium and we use Nichols Lawson. Okay, you see some other baseball fields here. Well, that property there, the idea is to cut a road into the complex, and you bypass Twin Street. It's easier access if you could just cut a road over into the complex.
Where would that be? The road?
The road right behind.
Okay.
There's another road right off of the hill there, on Central, going over towards Central Avenue. There's another road there you could just cut and go to the complex. Now, I'm not telling you that's going to happen right now, okay? But that's the ideal of what we'd like to do, because you've got 100+ acres that butts up against the softball complex where Little League plays, flag football happens, soccer happens, all this happens.
The city owns all of that?
The city owns 100 acres that butts up against that. So, long story short, that's what has been decided by the council. Now, I'm not real happy about spending a whole bunch of money right now because, as we know, things are very high. Fuel's high, groceries high, everything's high. So, but you know, I'm just one vote. But like I said, tonight we're going to talk about financials. Chambers and King's coming. The whole plan that everyone just seen there, here's going to be the final cost, and then that's where we will have to start taking away, not tonight now, but start taking away to see what we can afford. We've got to find that happy number that the city can afford, and because here's the thing, you can build it, that's all well and good, but you got to staff it. You got to be able to keep up maintenance on it year in and year out. You've got to be able to keep up if you put a swimming pool in there, or I take that back, when you put a swimming pool in there. You know, so there's a lot of different things that's got to go on. And I can't tell you it's going to be built next year because I'll be lying to you, because I don't see that happening, because there's still a lot of things the city has got to do financially and get some things in order to be able to pay for this.
So this Brailsford and Dunleavy, the city of Sylacauga retained this group as a municipal advisory consulting firm. How much are we paying this group?
That group there, I couldn't tell you a number because I don't know. But
The reason I'm saying it, we seem to have paid out a lot of money now for the last few years.
We have paid out a lot of money to consultants. And look, this all started 2016, 17, 18, and you know, it's kind of just carried over.
Yeah.
So we do pay out a lot of money to some things that I think we could do on our own. That consultant group there, it helps us with finances, and it helps us what we have in the bank and what you can't do with what you can do. So I really don't know what the number is on that.
So Thursday night, and it starts at 6 o'clock in the council chambers at City Hall. Now, we've had a couple of these already, right?
Yes, we have had a couple public meetings, and you know, I know you've advertised it here on Daybreak, and I know social media, and then the Parks and Rec has advertised it on social media. And we've had little codes out that you can scan your phone and take surveys. Chambers and King has where you have to have so many public hearings to have the public's input and to let the public know what's going on. So we've had 2. I do believe this is our last and final one.
And you know, people get on social media and they get all hyped up about this and other things. And one question was asked, well, this is a kind of crazy time to have this meeting, isn't it? And there's a reason behind having this meeting now.
Here's the thing, because from the last meeting we had, you have so many weeks to have the next meeting, and then it's time for you to make a decision. Now, you know, that's why we have to have the meeting on the 15th, because that's when the deadline is. So, and I know we've got a lot of different things going on in December, and I didn't pick the date. Nobody else picked it. Chambers and King says, okay, we got to have it here. So we have to, we're behind the 8 ball kind of, so you kind of have to have it on that date.
So all of this sounds well and good for our future. Only one question, how are we going to pay for all of this?
That's a good question, Jimmy Dale. That's kind of what the council and us are sitting there racking our heads around. How are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for the furniture you got to put in? How are you going to pay for the activities and the certain things that require an aquatic center? You know, you can't just put up a building.
What is an aquatic center?
An aquatic center has several different things on the inside. Okay, it's got an indoor swimming pool. It's got a workout center. It's got maybe a track either upstairs or at a certain area in the aquatic center. It's got a lot of different recreational activities all in one building. And you know, it's kind of like a recreational department, except you have an indoor swimming pool, so it's called an aquatic center.
All right, where would that be physically?
That would be on Highway 21, where Albie Steers' insurance company sits, straight across the road. The city owns all that, and it owns all the way up to the mountain.
So there's room to put that there, you know, that Avondale property or the trucking.
Miss Margaret Morton and Safe and Tidewater County and some others that's fixing to get cleaned up probably next month or so. They've just received their grant and they're waiting on go. What you do is you cut that road out. You just do away with the road that cuts in between the two properties, and you'd come up by Avondale, or you'd come up off of Highway 21 and come around. So there is enough room there, and we think that location, the steering committee picked that location because Miss Margaret and Tidy County and some others are fixing to build that training hub in the near future on that site, and it kind of redoes that side of town. You know, it gives it a facelift. So that's why we picked that location.
Nate Brewer, Sylacauga City Council District 3 is our guest this morning. City of Sylacauga undertaking a recreation master plan, and the final meeting is going to be Thursday evening at 6 o'clock in the council chambers, and certainly want to invite you to attend. And you know, if you've got questions, that's the time to ask those questions.
Absolutely, Jimmy. Facebook is all well and good. Social media is, you'll never outrun it, but I don't think you can get all your answers, because the people need to hear from the people making these decisions. You know, everybody's not on social media. Everybody doesn't have time to sit there and scroll through Facebook, because we all have jobs and we all have things that we have to do. So I encourage everyone to come to this meeting. Whether you like the idea or you don't like the idea, you still need to come for informational purposes. You still need to come. How much is it going to cost? Where do you think about getting the money from? How much money are you going to have to get? You know, and I know we're not going to make everybody happy. Now, if it was my call, I'd say let's find $5 million and let's redo our swimming pool, and we can wait on the rest of this. Now, but that's just me. I'm one of five. I can't make that call by myself. That's what I'd like to do, but that's probably not going to happen. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep asking, because we don't know what this price is going to be.
That may be why some of the people don't like you at City Hall.
That may be right, Brother Jim. But you know what? I've come to realize if you want to make everybody happy, sell ice cream. You can't make it in this position. You know, me and you talked when I first got it. I thought I'd change the world. I thought everybody'd be on board, everybody'd be happy. That's not the case. 50% of Sylacauga likes you. The other 50% don't think you're doing a real good job. But you know that all you can do is do the right thing, do what your people want you to do, and go to bed at night. If you do that, then you shouldn't have a problem at all sleeping. So.
Council just passed a budget, and if I read it correctly, you have some $36,000
yes, sir.
left over.
I think it may be a little less now. I think it's right at 30. You know, we've got a lot going out.
So that ain't much cushion.
No, there's not much cushion. And in my opinion, we give a lot to our entities. You know, we give a lot to, instead of holding back and letting them come to us when they need it, we go on and give it, you know. And I don't like that idea, but, you know, it is what it is right now. The council thought it'd be okay. There were some places I wanted to make some cuts to save us some money. And then, like I said, if they needed to let them come and ask for it, but that didn't happen. So you're right, $30,000 is not a lot of cushion for a city our size. You know, we've got a lot going on. Like I said, things have went up. We added 30% on everybody's oil, gas, tires for street department, fire department, police department. All that stuff went up, and we have to take up maintenance on all those vehicles. So we added that to their budget, because that comes out of their budget. So, you know, it just, right now, Jimmy Dale, things is tight. Now, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. Things are tight at City Hall because there's so much going out, and we've had to pay so much over the years since 2015 and 16, and everybody's coming in. Publix is going to open their doors any day now. That's going to help. Lord's is going to help. Ace Hardware is helping. Marble City Pharmacy is going to help. All these people that's coming in, it's going to help, but it's going to take time to get that revenue where we need to be. I think Ms. Burns said we had $19,717,000. Well, you know what? Now we ain't got but $30,000 out of that $19 million. That ain't real good. So, but we're trying to weed everything out. Like I said, you can't make everybody happy, and I think sometimes we put our personal feelings of how we feel about something and how good of a department this is and how good of a department that is, other than, hey, I want a brand new house, but I can't afford it right now, so I'm going to have to settle for what I got. You know?
You got police department needing money plus employees. You got a fire department needing money plus employees, and somehow you got to balance all that stuff out. We got to have more firemen, got to have more policemen.
Those things have got to be first, because they are public safety. Without the police department, you don't have a town. You don't have a city. And I can tell you right now, regardless of what you hear and regardless of what people say, Our police department's doing the best they can. Usually we have 5 to 6 on shift at night. Now we only have 3 to 4.
Now, that's scary.
That is scary because you've got guys working 80, 100 hours a week. They're having to go home and get some rest. You know, they've got a wife and 2 small children that's what they're responsible for, along with keeping us safe. So we got to figure out a way. You know, I think Lincoln's fixing to start paying their patrolmen $44,000 a year after the first of the year. You know, the county's a little higher than us. Shelby County starts you out at 50. We can't afford that. So we got to find a way to afford that because, like I said, without the police department, without the fire department, and without the street department, you don't have a town. Everybody is all up in arms. You're not safe. And then eventually you move out to where you and your children are safe. So we've got a lot we still got to figure out before we even get this situated. You know, those 3 things, public safety is always going to be first in my book. You know, I love recreational. I love kids. I love to coach. I love the rec. I love everything about sports activities. But without public safety, guys, we don't have a town. And without a town, you have nothing.
Yeah, about Nate Brewer, Sylacauga City Council District 3 for a couple more minutes. I want to get back to the master plan and the meeting Thursday night. A lot of feedback on social media. Several people asked the question or posed the question about, well, if we're going to pay for all this, does that mean a tax increase in our city?
Jimmy Dale, I'm going to tell you something. That has been talked about. You know, we are 8.5%.
What are we to the other areas?
Everyone else around you is 9.5, 10. You know, that has been talked about. I can't tell you that that's fixing to be voted on. I can't tell you that this one's going to do this one's going to do that, because I don't know that. I do know that in 2016, 2017, if they was going to raise taxes, the past council should have done it. You can't raise taxes right now. With everything that you've got is already increased. Groceries, fuel, you've already got an increase right there. You've already got a tax increase. You can't do that right now to pay for this. You're going to have to, all those other things with public safety, if you do a tax increase, that's where that's got to go. I said it from day one. I may be a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. I can't support a tax increase if it comes to that because the way the world is right now. Now look, if you was in 2015, 2016, when the United States was booming, people had jobs and people had money in their pocket, I could probably see that. But I can't see it right now because my people can't afford it. And that's what I'm elected to do. I'm elected by my people. My people are senior citizens. My people are on fixed incomes. My people are retired. I cannot support a tax. That don't mean I don't support the police department, the fire department, the street department. It don't mean I don't support this aquatic center we want to do. It means I cannot put a hardship on Miss Sue that lives in apartment B that she only draws $750 a month, and then when we do this, she's only going to have $100 left over, or she's only going to have $60 left over. Jimmy Dale, that's not fair. And she may never set foot in that aquatic center. She may never even go by there. That's not fair. So that's where I stand on that. Now, like I said, that has been discussed, but it's been discussed briefly. It's not like it's going to happen today. At the meeting tonight, you know, we have a council meeting tonight. If you want to come to that and be heard, that's great. I encourage you to. It's not like it's going to happen January, February. I don't know. There's not been a set date, but I promise you, if it ever comes on the agenda, you'll know, and everyone else will know, because I want everybody to voice their opinion. Now, look, Jimmy, there's people in town that support a tax increase because they want this aquatic center and they know the things that we need, but they also make $100,000 a year and they can afford it. You know, so you've got different people in the town that support different ideas because their lifestyles are different. My people can't afford that, you know. And I had a conversation Sunday morning at the round table at the hospital. There was 8 of us there. Only 7 said they did not support a tax increase. There was 1 that said he would to get this going and to help the police department and whatnot. But you know what? Him and his wife probably could afford that.
Yeah.
My others probably could afford it, but they didn't like the idea because the way the world has went, they probably don't trust that you're going to earmark, say you earmark $1 million for the police department. They don't know if that $1 million is actually going to go to the police department. Because if you do raise taxes, now you're looking at putting $4 or $5 million extra in your budget, and you're looking at do more things. And then I go back to this. When I was knocking on doors, mostly everyone told me they wanted something for children to do. They wanted something for our kids to do. They wanted something for our children to be involved in. Well, here it is. It's just wrong. It's bad timing right now. You know, it's bad timing.
You mentioned earlier about Publix and Lloyd's, and
Yeah.
we've got a lot of good things that's happening in our community. And I don't know if there's a target date on this Publix. I know it's going to be 2023 at some point.
Yes, sir. Well, I know Lloyd's plans to have his building up and going, I think, the end of January of 2023. I don't know a date on Publix. I wished I did because I love Publix, but I'm sure he will follow suit. I'm looking at maybe January, February if we're lucky. I really don't know, but I know he's real close because he's pulled some permits for electrical on the inside and flooring on the inside and some things like that. So he's getting close.
All right, Sylacauga City Councilman Nate Boom Boom Brewer, District 3, joining us this morning, reminding you again of the meeting at Council Chambers at City Hall on Thursday. Starts at 6 o'clock. And, you know, I've always been told if you're going to voice your opinion, be there to voice it.
If you're going to complain, you need to be there to tell your council what you want done.
And they work for us.
Absolutely. All 5 members work for 12,200 and something people of this city. That's what we're there for. You elected us to do a job, and we need to do that job for how you want us to do it. You know, but if you don't voice your concern, if you don't come to the meetings, if you don't get involved, you don't need to complain. If you don't call your council members, you can always call City Hall and get our numbers. They'll give you our sales. I've gave my cell here plenty of times. If you don't get involved, you can't complain. That's just the way I feel.
All right, appreciate you coming this morning.
Thanks for having me, Jimmy Dale.
Nate Brewer, Sylacauga City Council District 3, our guest this morning. More Daybreak just ahead.